Whether my screen is visible to all of you? Whether my screen is visible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, see, we start with first module. Okay, that is all about the theoretical aspects of mobile application development. Okay, since the scope of this discussion is restricted only to Android, so I will be discussing about the theoretical aspects about the Android application development. Okay, to start with, uh, let me just talk about what is an Android. See, there are different categories and kinds of operating system and the platforms. So you know there is an Android platform, you have an iOS platform, and you have a Windows, you have a BlackBerry. Okay, so there are different kinds of operating systems. So all these things is nothing but some set of software pieces. Okay, now what is this software pieces? It contains some set of instructions which you can enable those set of instructions to be executable on certain devices. So now what are the devices? The applications which can run in mobile platforms are called as mobile applications. Okay, and the devices are called as mobile devices. So what do you mean by a mobile devices? A devices where it can execute a piece of instructions on the devices which can run it on fly, or maybe from the dynamic perspective. Maybe tablet, you can take the tablet anywhere that you want and still you can execute the instructions. Maybe you can have your the laptops, you can execute it. You can have your laptop notebooks, notepads, you can execute it. Smartphones, yes, you can execute it. Electronic book readers like e-book readers or Kindle, anything. So the devices where you can take it around and execute a certain set of instructions are called as mobile devices. Basically, these mobile applications were designed to execute only on the mobile devices earlier in the way back in 2002 2003. Okay, so this idea was initially conceptualized by a scientist called as Andy Rubin. Okay, which he founded this Android Incorporation in Palo Alto in California in 2003. So over the period of time, with the kind of developments that are happening in this Android operating systems, Google has acquired this Android Incorporation. So 2005 onwards, so it has become a subsidiary of Google Incorporation. So in 2007, okay, so Google announces the development of Android applications, and in 2009, okay, so the lot of versions which was having not any a typically code name for the Android version was launched. So in 2008, HTC company has launched the first Android mobile for the features which it was having at that point of time. Okay, so if you look at the the history of the Android versions, okay, which started in September 23 2008, okay, where there was the version number say 1.0 with a API level. API is what? So application programming level for the framework of Android. Okay, it's not like API what you think about from web application perspective. Okay, it's all about application programming interface for a particular version framework. Okay, it is a very unique number. So if you look at this thing, the first Android version which started in 2009, and the first version of this Android was called as a Cupcake, which has a version number as 1.53 and which was having the API level 3. Over the period of time, so there were different softwares, okay, plugins, hardware components, and the kind of mobile devices which has come during that period, so slowly started emerging, and new kinds of features, new kinds of extensions has started coming in. So since there should be a compatibility between hardware and software from the mobile perspective, okay, so the various code names were designed. Okay, like if you see .NET, Eclair, Frio, Gingerbread, Honeycomb, okay, ice cream, sandwich, okay, with the different versions numbers and API levels, okay, Jelly Bean, Kit Kat, the laptop, Marshmallow, okay, Nougat, okay, with various versions, okay, and Oreo and Pie. Okay, so this was the different kinds of Android operating systems which were released from right from say 2009 to till 2018. Okay, and each of this operating system has to be well compatible with the different kinds of devices. See, in the Samsung tablets or in Samsung notebook, okay, or in Samsung devices, there are different kinds of hardware components. Similarly, if you look at the iPhone and iPad, iMac, and all those things, you have a different kinds of hardware components. Okay, similarly, if you look at the other window-based, this mobiles or tablets, okay, it has got different hardware components. So since there was an improvement in the software features, so correspondingly, they should also be increasing the hardware features and its components, which can be compatible. Probably all of you would be aware of that some of the mobile devices with some versions with some code names might not be compatible with certain hardware components. That means there is no compatibility mapping between the software which is residing in operating systems and the hardware devices. So to overcome these features, there were a lot of improvements which were being made. The latest Android version which is being released in September 3rd 2019 is Android 10, which has an API level 29. Actually, the code name which was initially the naming was actually Quench. Okay, Quench was the name. How there is a Marshmallow, Nougat, Oreo, and Pie. Similarly, for Android 10, it was Quench was the the code name which was given in the 2019. But there are some beta versions, but it is not still stabilized. Even Android 11 also is also being released on May 4th, I think 2020. But still there are a lot of improvements which is required to be made, and still it is in a beta version, not released to a market. So as of now, you can think the latest version of Android is Android 10. Okay, so that is the thing. Okay, this is a very brief information about Android. I will be talking more about on Android from the module 2, because module 1 consists only of preliminary information. So I thought before actually telling the preliminary information, I thought just give you a flavor of what is the Android and other things. Okay, this is the one thing that you should know. Next is preliminary considerations. Okay, this is very, very important. So what is the need for developing a mobile-based applications? Why the companies, maybe service-based companies or product-based companies, would like to go for mobile applications? What features they do see in the existing web-based applications, or the standalone based applications? So the first thing is, every competitor in the market offers products or services. But nowadays, even the products are also considered as a services economically. So there will be a stiff competition between various competitors in the market, because what happens, they just try to develop all the the applications catering to the needs of the market. But by the time they release the application to a market, okay, so it would have been outdated. That means there are some other competitor who would have taken the the complete control on the market to market their specific products and services. See, it is not possible for any company or any organizations to to just wait and go to each customer stores and say that this is my product. So it is not possible to convince them manually. So how do we the companies strategize to have a customer base, so that their products or their services should reach to a larger customer base? Now, say, for probably you would be knowing that say, when I develop any solutions, need not be mobile solutions only. It can be any software solutions which can run on laptops or desktops or servers, or any kind of servers for that matter. Okay, so if I don't have a proper customer base, then I cannot market my product. If I cannot market my product or services, then I will not get revenue. If there is no revenue, okay, so I cannot grow myself from the company perspective. So how do we see, or how do we think that the products or the services should reach to a large customer base? So if I got more customers, okay, more customers, then it is easy for my company revenue growth. Otherwise, it is very difficult to sustain in this competitive world. So that day in and day out, there will be a lot of technologies, lot of products, lot of services coming from all corners of the world. Even if you look at the some of the websites, especially Amazon website, the kind of products and services that you see in amazon.com would be much more when you compare the amazon.in website. Okay, so now the customers, it is the responsibility of a company to ensure that the more number of products or services should be made reachable to more number of customers. So for example, if I want to sell my the fridge which I manufactured at the cost of say 3,000 or 4,000 rupees, so I cannot sell that in Alaska or in cold countries. So I need to target for a companies which is very I mean to say places which are very hot. And there is a concept of demand and supply. So when a place is very hot, so the people will be looking for devices which makes them cool. Okay, so when there is more demand for such kind of a devices, okay, so then the cost of that specific product will go high. So how do we ensure that at the same time maintaining the low cost and reaching the the more customers? Now at any point of time anybody can order anything in the websites, or websites which are available now. So earlier, the people used to log into the website, do registration, then ordering, and all those things will happen. Now, the people don't have time to log into the website and do the required transactions. So what is the alternative for that? So there should be a quick and easy method so that the customer can book the the required services or product at any point of time in a very easy way. So that was the motive behind why this kind of mobile application development concept came into a picture. Okay, that's one thing. Suppose, say for example, how many customers know that when they want to buy a product, there will be some kind of a discount, or there will be some kind of a coupon, until and unless the customer goes physically to a store and buy it. So instead of that, why can't I have a application or apps, okay, where that free coupon or discount can be given to all the registered people in the apps, so that at their convenient way in the mobile, so they can use that specific code and offer the and order the product whatever that they are required it. Okay, so that's the one thing. And second thing, see, because of this lot of social analysis and social networking, okay, so there is also a dangerous thing that the people may misuse the informations which are available in the websites or in the solutions what they offer by the the companies. So how do we overcome this kind of fake analysis in the social network? Whether do we have a methodology or solutions which can overcome? So physically doing and executing it in the computers or servers, which will take a lot of time to do it. Okay, so why can't we have mobile solutions for this? So for example, I want to ask how many of you are interested in knowing a machine learning concept. So if I put the same query in the desktop, okay, it may take a lot of time. But in the mobile, if I just give some link, so it is very easy for all the participants to give the quick answer for the questions which is being asked by me. So in this way, there are a lot of plus and minuses, for the mobile applications. Of course, quality versus time to market. See, simply I cannot project any kind of a solution, okay, to customer needs. So I should do a proper survey, understand the customer needs of different regions. So accordingly modify the app. Nowadays when you go to a Play Store, okay, for any single the concept I mean to say, for example, I want to do a scanning from my mobile on some book or some pages. There are n number of applications which are available, and some of the people gives good rating for some applications, for some apps, and some people give 3 stars, some people give 2 star, some people give 5 star, and some people give the ratings after they use thoroughly, say for 5 months, 6 months. But we don't know whether that all that information is correct or not. So depending upon the kind of rating that you are going to get when you are just trying to download from the mobile, so based on that factor, okay, the people try to download the applications in a specific time. So so there should be a thorough market survey needs to be done before you actually release the apps or the mobile solutions that you have developed, to release it into a Play Store. And there are certain conditions and restrictions to put or deploy mobile applications that you develop in a market. Okay, so next is legacy systems and integration. Okay, so what is this legacy system? See, from maybe say past 10 years or 15 years, so people have developed a lot of software solutions, and every day and every time people cannot sit in front of systems and do the transactions. So do you provide mobile solutions in such a way that whatever the legacy applications that were there can be ported to a mobile platform, so that all the stakeholders will feel very convenient to use this application? See, maybe you might have Excel, you might have an object data, okay, so you might have a technology which is not at all compatible with the mobile platform. So do you provide such kind of applications, I mean to say mobile solutions, through which you can port all your legacy information or legacy software information to a mobile platform. Okay, so these are the considerations that you should know when you are developing an application in a sense, it's a mobile solutions, what I mean to say. Next, and what is the, the difference that you see between a mobile web and mobile app? See, mobile web, you can also log into your tablets, your laptops, or your smartphones on the fly. Again, open your screen, okay, enter into a URL, okay, type all your login credentials, then do the required transactions, which is a time consuming process. And people don't have a patience nowadays, especially with this our generation. So where they wanted all the information to be available at the fingertips. Okay, so in that way, mobile web is not much suitable for the current young generations. Suppose if I want to check my mail, okay, so I need not go to laptop, type gmail.com, okay, give my login credentials, and just see whether have I received any informations or mails, etc. But if you look at the any mobile devices like tablets or smartphones, okay, I can there is inbuilt mail apps are available. Like by just one click, I must be able to get all the required informations. So there is a facility, okay, to use whatever I was using earlier in the laptops. So things have become very easy now by developing a mobile applications. So, but all said and done, so how effectively you can develop a mobile application, how effectively your user interface is, how effectively information can be processed depending upon the user needs, okay, at various regions. Whenever you just try to log in to Amazon, so whatever you have browsed earlier, okay, so all those history will come, so that if any new product in new services will come into that Amazon stores, so it will showcase you that this is the people who bought this has also bought this kind of thing, so that there will be a easy analysis of the customer's behavior towards the projects. That's one thing. Second thing is, see, even I don't want to log into Amazon website, so I want to do it all the transactions using mobile apps only. See, for example, one scenario where suppose I have brought, I used to bring a lot of mobile devices, or say tablets or any other the products from a retail store. So I used to book through an app. Now, every time when I just try to open that specific app, so I must be able to get what are the new products that has come in for that specific product, okay, in that specific stores, and what is the discount that is being offered, what is the coupon, okay, and what category of people have bought this kind of applications and all these things. Okay, so when you are developing a mobile solutions for any such the e-commerce market, okay, you have to consider all these situations. Say now we have a technology, we have a domain, okay, we have an application, so all these things need to be integrated. Okay, so in order to make a very robust apps, what do you mean by a robust apps? So there should be a quality, there should be a durability, there should be a reliability. So that means what? So whenever I'm using my app, and nowadays most of the apps that you're using over the period of time will get connected to your financial transactions. Okay, maybe if you want to have more features in that apps, okay, so you have to pay some, say, $2 or $3 per month. So since there is a financial transactions involved, and where you can connect to your bank account, okay, so there should be some security in it. Okay, and when you just try to give your PIN number through your debit card and other things, so how reliable it is, and how fast it is. Okay, so these things needs to be considered when you are developing a mobile applications. So that was the consideration done when the people started developing mobile applications 10 years before. So this is the thing. Next, the cost of development. Okay, so any cost that comes to development of mobile solutions is being divided into, say, hardware aspects and software aspects. Now, when you talk about hardware aspects, now I have developed an application, okay, where I want my applications to be available, where my application needs to be available for all these kinds of devices. But how do I know? People use different kinds of models. Okay, I mean to say mobile devices. Maybe they can use the tablets of different versions. They can use the smartphones of different versions, because in each of these devices there will be a different kinds of components which will be there. So I have to make sure that whatever the apps that I'm going to develop is compatible to all these kinds of devices. In some of the situations the apps will be compatible, in some of the situations app will not be compatible. But if I want my applications to be available for all kinds of devices, so it takes lot of time to do it, lot of analysis needs to be done. Okay, otherwise it is not possible to cater the needs. So for example, you have developed one app, okay, and so for say healthcare app you have designed it and developed, okay, and this app is, say, it is very powerful and it can be used by all kinds of users. But there is a much usage of your app in, say, in US, but in US most of them are using only iPhones. But if I'm developing my app only to cater to the needs of, say, Indian market, then my app will utterly fail. Okay, so there should be a parallel improvement in the hardware, and there should be parallel improvement even in the software also. So in addition to this, okay, when people are developing good mobile applications, they might need a Intel based, Mac operating system, okay, which will be physically built on iOS implementations of the applications. Okay, so probably if you want to test, see, yesterday I was just talking about deploying different kinds of emulators. The applications that you develop might work in some of the emulators or simulators. It might not work also. Okay, so and it is not possible to try out for all kinds of emulators and all kinds of simulators sometimes. And I cannot write a code and make improvement very often to execute it in Android platform, Windows platform, and in iOS platform. So I want to write a code only once and make sure that it runs in all platforms. Okay, it can be Windows based devices, it can be iOS based devices, or it can be other Symbian operating systems or BlackBerry or something like that. Okay, but earlier there were no technologies to do this. So maybe some 5-6 years back there was a certain technology called as Ionic 1, Ionic 2, and Ionic 3, where if you just try to write a code only once, so that can be ported to a different platforms. So that was the thing. And since my app has to run on different screen size, so I should also take care about that screen size, how the hardware or software aspects will configure to the kind of applications that I'm developing it. See, because the kind BlackBerry works will be something different from iPod Touch. The way iPod Touch works will be something different from Apple iPhone of different versions. The kind of the screen size that you see in iPhone with, say, 6 inches or 5 inches is definitely different from iPad of 10.1 versions. So when I'm developing a software, I mean to say mobile based software, So depending upon different kinds of the devices and the screen sizes, the software applications should be made compatible. Say for example, see, I'm developing a application to work on Windows Phone. Assume, okay, the software required for it is a Windows Phone SDK, okay, and it requires a Visual Studio Express, and it requires an expression blend. These are the softwares, which is required to deploy an app on a Windows Phone. Similarly, if I want to deploy my applications on iOS platforms, so I require Xcode iOS with different versions, and this works only with Mac operating systems. Similarly, if I want to execute my applications on Android, I require an Eclipse, I require an Android SDK. Okay, see, the softwares are different for each of these platforms. But if I want to make it anything general, it is really very difficult to do it, because every devices will have its own hardware and software. So that is a challenge to do it. Okay, what I mean to say here is, in nutshell, if you are developing an apps, there should be a parallel compatible components from both hardware perspective and as well as the software perspective. But if you look at the some of the other frameworks like PhoneGap, Titanium, other things, so it runs under both under Android software and iOS software, and other PhoneGap plugins will also work for some of the frameworks. But it is left to the the Android developers, for whom they wanted to target or deploy the applications for the various customers. Okay, so this is all about hardware and software. And if you go to developer.android.com website, you can see there is a lot of Android SDK documentation. If you go to developer.apple.com, you can see about iOS documentation. If you go to docs.phonegap.com, you can see a lot of PhoneGap documentations. Okay, so similarly, if you go to msdn.microsoft.com, okay, so you can visit MSDN libraries and see what are the different libraries and plugins are available for the apps that you are going to develop it for, so Windows phones. But nowadays, whatever the the apps that are coming in is almost more or less, it is compatible for all kinds of devices. So the bottom line for this cost of development is that the total cost that is involved to create, maintain, and distribute mobile applications for all the platforms requires at least some minimum of, say, some thousands of dollars, with required minimum infrastructure, and which requires a minimum development time to do this. But it's all depends upon the complexity of the kind of applications that you are doing it. Okay, so this is all about the cost of the development. Next, the mobile myths. Okay, at this point of time, you have any clarifications? Anything that you feel that you wanted to tell? Do you have any updated informations on this? So it should be, I should also talk, you should also talk. Otherwise, it will become like one-way communication. Anybody wants to say something?
No, sir.
Yeah. Okay. So how many of you have used, development of Android, maybe in the recent years? Anybody has got an exposure of development of Android programs? You can just put it in a chat box. Okay. 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 Just go to this website, menti.com, and use the code 48, 46, 15, and 5. That is a small quiz, which you can just take it. Are you able to go to this menti.com?
So is it 48, 46, and 15 or?
5, 15, 5.
Okay.
Yes, sir, we are able to connect to it.
So I have got only 16 the responses. There are 46 students. 45 now. I got 19. See all your answers. I can just view here. Okay, I can just download it. Okay, 24. So only 26 students. Others. So you can execute the. You can go to this even in mobiles or tablets, computers. I got only 26, 28. Good. So 2 are not attentive. Okay, fine. Okay. Okay, yeah, so you can just close this. Okay, so next is mobile myths. Okay, uh, a myth is a perceptions about the development of mobile applications from a community. Okay, so from the community, the different people based on the development experience, interaction experience with others. Okay, so they try to give different perceptions about this mobile development. The people say it is very inexpensive to develop mobile solutions. The logic for this is, or rationale for this is, okay, so Android SDK is a freeware. So I need not purchase anything officially and develop a mobile application development. Okay, since it's a open source, I can develop and I can, whatever testing that I want to test it, I can test that one, and even this can be deployed even in the GitHub also, to receive the various comments, okay, and do the code versions, change configuration management, okay. So and all these things can be done without incurring any kind of cost. So I should have some 4 GB or 8 GB RAM with a good configuration system, okay, and I can go on writing an the application, and deploy it in either in my mobile phones, or if I have got an Android as TV, or Android based tablets, okay, Android based say wearable devices, so I can keep on doing it, okay. But if I want to deploy it officially, so that the large number of users can use it, okay, then I have to deploy it in a the Play Store, which may incur some amount. Maybe it may cost around 2,000 or 3,000, something like that, okay. So expensive is only that much, okay. And why it is more the people can be adaptable for this is, see, in case if you are developing any commercial applications, so in fact you can have a revenue generated mechanism here. That means you can invite some of the related advertisers to give an ad in the apps that you are going to do it. But again, there is always a plus point and a minus point. The plus point is that if more number of advertisers keep coming and they will be interested, okay, to market their products. Suppose say you have developed a application, and say there are around say 1.5 lakh users for your applications, okay. Say it's a healthcare application, okay, where the people can test their blood pressures, or they can know the stock of certain categories of medicine is available in which store, in which place, something like that. Or if any medical transcriptionist company, if they want to sell their products or give some kind of services, they can give their ad. So for every click of a button, or every user who sees that information, okay, so the advertisers will pay some 1 rupee or 2 rupees, so depending upon the the agreement that you have made. And you can also have a revenue generation mechanism here. But at the same time, if there are more number of ads, people also don't like it, okay. That is the other way around of understanding this. Next, it is very easy to develop mobile solutions. Easy in the sense, again, this is a very the subjective aspects. Easy might be for someone, and easy might be very difficult for somebody. But since if having a little bit programming structure and understanding about Java syntax and semantics, okay, with the exposure to Bootstrap, HTML5, and all those things, it's very easy to understand. See, there are two perspectives. One is from the developer's perspective, there is from the end user's perspective. See, anyway, developers has to develop a code, okay. So how effectively he writes a code depends upon the kind of feedback that is going to get from the customers, okay. I mean to say the end user. So end user will give the feedback. Maybe if you just try to download anything from the the Google's Play Store, any apps, so they will have a reviews. So, and whenever there is a bug or anything, you have to fix it, and same information has to be given. So easy to develop is from that perspective. Mobile presence not needed. That means what? So whenever I want to use an apps, okay, so if I just have my internet connections and any mobile devices, that is more than enough to do any kind of transaction that is required. Nowadays, all bills, everything is being paid only through apps. Take electricity bill, or water bill, or internet charges, okay, that needs to be paid. Maybe recharges for everything. Okay, the people are not at all now interested to go for a physical website, do all these things. Okay, so sometimes it so happens that some of the informations might not be so much visible, or you want to download it from the mobile devices. Either you have to connect, then you have to go to a gallery, open it from there, you have to copy paste. But there was a mechanism that was developed can go to web apps in the laptop, scan it through a QR code, and whatever that you see in the the mobile. So all these things can be made visible even in the desktops. So that makes very easy to transfer the files between devices in the sense mobile devices and your laptops or desktops. Okay, now you can have a communication exchange or communication information exchange, okay, between the mobile devices and the non-mobile devices. That's one thing. Second, that is all about mobile presence. Next is require large development team. Yes, of course. When you have a lot many applications, lot many components, lot many informations that needs to be exchanged between the various users. Okay, like say for example, I'm conducting a online video conference using a Cisco WebEx. The hardware platform and a configuration kind of thing from Cisco WebEx is totally different from the way the Zoom and Google Meet is happening. Okay, so how do you enable that Google Meet app or Zoom app or maybe any other kind of app that gets installed into a mobile devices and configurations? So it is different. So in such kind of very large commercial, the applications, so it requires a large development team is required, because it so happens that there are different category of users. Okay, so there is a very wide market for that application. Say for example, I want to change my the Aadhaar card details through an app. So how well it should be secured? To the kind of people that are there is very huge. Okay, the kind of database it should maintain is very large. But the people say that the mobile application, whatever that is being done, okay, it is only for light purpose, but the people are using it for heavy purposes. That means you can connect your mobile applications to a cloud database. Okay, in fact, if you are just trying to execute this mobile app, okay, where there is a database kind of interactions and applications, okay, you can have a SQLite that get installed in your database and you can work. But if you that is in fact that is very static actually, so I can see only in my system, I cannot see in any other systems. But now I give some kind of a quiz or some kind of a questions, okay, where students from a different place, okay, they can give their answers or they can give poll. Okay, so I cannot use a SQLite for this. I have to use a cloud database that is called as a Firebase. Okay, so Firebase base can be used for dynamic interactions between a database and the mobile front end. Okay, that's the thing. Okay, I would like all of you to go to again this menti.com. Okay, again use the same code. I'm getting only one response, others. Please refresh it, go to menti.com again, use the same code. So I got 20 responses. Okay, good. Okay, that's fine. Okay, this is the last quiz. Is 3. Okay, please again go to menti.com and use the same code. So there is a provision for you to write the answer. So I will be giving 4 or 5 minutes. So I want you to give one reason why mobile apps is very important in a current scenario. It should be just one line answer. Another 3 minutes. Okay. Okay, so I got a response about say 21 students. It's accessible. Very good. Excellent. Excellent. Okay. Okay, we'll end up the class for today. And about the next concepts, we'll take it in the next class. So thank you for attending the class. So I think around 45 students have attended. Okay. So any clarifications, any questions?
No, sir.
Okay, fine.